Hello everybody, it's Susan here. I know I'm not normally on camera, but I thought I'd make an exception. So I have made this memory quilt here. It's sort of like a double-sized quilt, and I've made it from baby grows, dresses. It's an order for a lady who's got a little girl, and she's given me loads of different lovely dresses and stuff, which you'll see in the main video. But it's now finally finished. It's taken me about nearly 4 months to make and put together, but it's all done. I've taken loads of videos, different stages. This is how it's going to be presented when they come and pick it up tomorrow. So it's been a lovely project to make. I've really enjoyed it, and I actually feel like I'm going to be a bit sad when it goes, even though it doesn't belong to me. But because I've spent loads and loads of hours making it and putting a lot of love into it, that it's making me sad. I kind of want to keep it, but obviously I'm not going to. I'm sure there'll be other lovely projects that I'll get to do, and if you're interested and you want a memory quilt made, you can follow me. I am on Facebook under Handmade Stuff by Susan Bradford. Check me out there. You can always send me a message, and I'll always come back to you. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the videos that I've made, and thank you for watching, and I hope that you will follow me on Facebook, and also if you could punch the like button and follow me on YouTube and subscribe, that would be great too. Thank you. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hi everybody, it's Susan here. I'm just doing a video on how to make a memory quilt. So someone has asked me to make a baby memory quilt with all their baby clothes that they've kept. So she has given me this very large bundle of clothes, as you can see, and there are some gorgeous, I mean, look at this dress, gorgeous little dresses and vests and baby grows, and they're just all gorgeous, and it's so scary to cut up, but I'm going to make something amazing with this lot. There's about 52 outfits here. So I originally started and I wrote down everything, and I sort of laid them all out to see what kind of measurements I can get out of each picture and what else I can do with them. So I started yesterday. I run out of cards, so I've got to do some more, making some squares, all the different sizes. I've got my rulers, my fabric scissors, I've got some paper scissors what I was using for that. I've got a rotary cutter, my pencil, and I have got some interfacing. I've just ordered some more because I don't think I've got enough, so I'm going to get some lightweight interfacing, and the first job that I'm going to do is to cut these out and iron them onto the interfacing. So I'm going to start by cutting up the baby grows and the dresses. So I'm going to start with a simple one. So this is a little baby grow that I'm going to cut out. So to start with, I'm just going to turn that round, and I'm just going to cut along the seams of the baby grow. And then I'll get a flatter piece. And I'm just going to cut just around the arm bits. See this bit here? I'm just going to flap that back so I can just get right in there and cut that. So that's one side done. And then I'm going to do the other side. So you need a really good pair of fabric scissors to do this. I'm trying to do it at the flat bit of the seam as well. That. So I'm gonna keep these bits, and because this quilt's gonna be, it's not going to be exact the same squares. It's going to be different rectangles and squares. I need bits to fill in the gaps, so I'm going to keep these to one side and use them when I need to use them. And that's my first bit done. Okay, so now I've got this cut out. It's nice and flat on the table. I've cut out some squares out of some cereal packets. So I've done 15 by 15 and I've done 14 by 14, 12 by 12, etc. I've run out of some cards, so I need to get some more card to make more. But anyway, so I'm going to place that just on there just to make sure the picture's in there, so I know what size I'm going to make this. So then I'm going to put that to one side, and then I'm going to get my interface in. So here is my interface in. It's a very lightweight interface in. Got glue on one side that you iron on and smooth on the other. So you put the glue side on the bit of material here, which I'll show you in a minute. And this just basically makes this stable. So when I'm stitching the baby grow, instead of it being all stretchy and elastic like it is, it will be a little bit stiffer, but not too stiff because it's lightweight. So I'm going to cut that out first. So let me just place that down. So I'm going to get my template. And what I'm going to do as well, I have got a quilting ruler. Oops, if I can grab it. So I've got my quilting ruler. Rather than me cutting my card, I'm just going to literally use that as a thing, as a hard edge. Just cutting that down there. Already cut the top. Oops. Doing that wrong. And just put that on there. And that just cuts that like that. Let's just move them out of the way. If it didn't cut all the way, it's fine. You should just use the scissors, fabric scissors. Just going to move that out of the way. So here I've now got my interface in. So if I put that down face down and the glue side face down onto here, I need to kind of make sure I can kind of see the pattern through slightly. I'm sure I've got enough room this side. That should be okay. Then I'm going to grab my little ironing board. So I've got a little portable ironing board here that I've made. Literally, I'm not got the iron on that hot. It's actually on wool because I don't want to burn anything. And sometimes on these baby grows, the little pictures come off, and I don't want to do that. So I'm literally just giving it an iron. And I've got that ironed there, so I can now take my little board away. I can then get my quilting ruler and just line it up against that bit, and then I can just cut the fabric. So it should cut away just like that. Just keep turning it, it's just easier to turn it. And you're just using that bit of interfacing as your template. A bit a little tough there because it's got a thicker bit. Let's just cut that off. And then let's just cut this bit. Perfect. And one more side. I'm sure some people do this slightly different, but this is just the little technique that I find that works for me. And there you go, I've got a little patch that's not so stretchy. It's got its interfacing on and that's ready to go in my pile. So when I come around to doing all of them, I can then just put them all together. So I have a baby grow here, and so I thought I'd just show you this one quickly because it's just a little bit more complicated. It's obviously got poppers. This has got like 2 little pretty pockets on the side and a little pretty bows there. So I don't want to I can't really cut out little squares there because then they'll be too little, and you need at least a seam allowance to sew. And some of my templates that I've got, like I said, I've run out of card. They're not big enough. So I am literally going to use my bigger quilting ruler, and I'm going to start off. I've opened these bits here, and I'm going to cut off. Just going to cut down here. Actually, I could cut the legs. I won't cut the legs off. I'm just going to cut down here. I'm just going to cut the seam, just so it sits a bit flatter when I start cutting the top. So if I just go through the seam here, just try not to get the layers that are inside, like I just did there. But anyway, it doesn't matter, it just makes it harder to cut. It is a little bit scary when you're cutting up clothes, especially for a memory blanket. And I mean, some of these dresses and baby grows are so cute, and it is scary, and you're cutting up someone's possessions, but obviously they've given you permission. But I think it's harder when it's your own, because when I did my dad's cushion and bear and I had to cut some of his clothes up, you know, it's quite emotional. But at the end of the day, it's going to be amazing. That's how you've got to think of it. So now I've kind of cut that and I've made that a bit flat. So obviously I don't want this V bit here. So I can use my ruler just to sort of chop down as much as possible, because obviously there's a popper there. So let me see if my rotary cutter will do some of the job. And then I might have to get my actual scissors to do the tough bit in the middle there without hitting the popper. There we go, so we can put that, I'll put that in the little scraps, you never know, might need it. And then here, this is where it gets hard, when obviously I would cut my interface in first and then put it on, but because this is a bit of an unusual shape, I'm going to have to see if I can wing it a bit. So this is why I'm showing you with something that's a little bit more different and a bit more difficult. So I'm literally just gonna, I'm going for it. I know I should be using my ruler, but I'm just going for it, because I can use my ruler in a minute to tidy it up. Right, so I'm going to put that aside because I might need some of that later. And as you can see, it's not very straight. It's not very straight. Okay, so I'm literally going to get my interface in before I cut it straight. This is the glue side up. I'm literally gonna, I don't like doing it this way that much, because obviously you lose some of the interfacing. I don't want to lose the interfacing because it's can be quite expensive. But I don't think I'm going to lose much, so I'm just going to go for it. So I'm literally going to iron this, but obviously when you iron it, you need to be really careful not to put your iron on the interfacing, because it will stick to your iron and then your iron will go all gunky and horrible. So it's a matter of trying your best to just get as much as you can on, because you can, in a minute, we're going to cut up the sides of the interfacing and get rid of that, and then we can give it another iron to go on. So if we just do that, I've also got some really pretty dresses in this pile, but what I'm going to probably do with them is, once I've made the quilt, I'll do a few blank squares and I'll hand sew the skirts of the dresses on, because there's one particular dress that's so pretty and it's embroidered, and I just wouldn't want to lose that puffiness. So I'm just going to try and, some of it I'll do hand stitching as well. So that's, I've ironed as much, it's not ironed in properly because obviously the interfacing, and then I'm going to just cut the interfacing away. So what I'll do is I'll cut the interfacing away first, and then, see, I'll keep little scraps of this because that, you might have little projects that you could do that you might need that. So it's not going to go to waste entirely. So once I've done this, I can then get my ruler out and straighten it all and make it all nice. Put my interfacing away. And get my iron again. Oh, some of the top isn't there, I don't want to. Those little bits, just because I literally want to put it back on the ironing pad and give it a press, and now I can kind of press the edges without ruining my iron, and then you can see it's actually stuck. Sometimes it curls, but it's fine. So what I may have to do when I stitch, I might have to do like a little stitch along here just to hold this down, because I don't think that's going to really hold down. But kind of when you're doing a memory quilt and you've got such different types of things, baby grows and dresses and t-shirts and whatever, you kind of have to like adapt it as you go along, you know. So that's that. So now let's put that to the side. I kind of like this, my cutting mat, because I use it a lot for obviously sizing up to make sure my lines are straight and stuff. And you can see the lines are not straight. So I want to cut the bottom. Let's do it upside down. I kind of want to cut the bottom. As you can see, if the line starts there and it goes off, I don't want to cut too much away because I obviously need a seam allowance to keep those pretty pockets in. So if I make sure I've got my ruler down there like that. A bit hard at the bulky bit. But if I can make a line, I can then follow that with the scissors. So let me just, oops. I'm not worried about that because it kind of gives you a line, so you can just give it a bit of a snip. So that's the top. I could probably put a little bit of bias tape there and bind it down, but I'd rather sew it because then it's secure. So now I'm just going to literally take this to the edge just to make sure that this is all straight. I'm going to do the top. I'm going to make sure that's lined up with my grid here. And my grid there. Did I just go off slightly? I think I've gone off slightly. Let me just do that side again because I just want to get it off with the grid. I just bought some new blades for my rotary cutter and it's brilliant. Right, let's get this on the line there. I'm not worried that that's not perfect because it's going to be sewn in. And then I'm going to have to take this, literally, if I use this ruler to straight at the bottom, it kind of gives me like a right angle straightness, because obviously I can't do it with the grid lines on there because that bit goes in, and I don't want to take too much because I need a seam allowance. I've got that, and now I just need the top. So if I take this lower bit to the bit there, oops, kind of using the ruler as an actual thing to weigh it all up. That gives it perfect rectangle then. Oops. Just that little bit there, right. Let's just use that to cut the rest out. That bulkiness. And there you have it. So we've got another little square, and we've got the little seam there, and we can just sew that down, or I could even put some tacking stitches underneath if I want to, just so as it doesn't show, but that will be sewn in anyway when I click the square together. All right.